Sometimes the hardest person to let go of is not the one who rejected you clearly. It's the one who gave you just enough. Just enough texts, just enough flirting, just enough attention, just enough chemistry, just enough hope. And that's why this is so confusing. Because if he was cold from the start, you'd move on. But when he gives you little moments that feel real, you start thinking, maybe he does care. Maybe he's just busy. Maybe he's scared. Maybe I should be patient. And before you know it, you're emotionally attached to potential instead of reality. So 3 signs he's not actually into you, but you keep hoping. And the goal here is not to make you cynical. It's to help you stop calling inconsistency a complicated connection. First, this matters. Before we get into the signs, let's be fair. Not every delayed text means disinterest. Not every slow-moving man is playing games. Not every person who needs space is emotionally unavailable. But here's the real standard. Interest creates effort, and confusion that never clears up is a signal too. Psychology Today makes this point really clearly. When someone shows minimal effort, lacks follow-through, runs hot and cold, when someone stays vague or sends mixed signals, those signals are often not mixed at all. They're signs that the person is either not invested or not ready to invest. So let's talk about the signs. This is the first sign, and honestly, the one that traps the most people. He does text you sometimes. He does check in occasionally. He does flirt when it suits him, but it's not stable. It's not dependable. It's not building anywhere. One week he's active, the next week he disappears. Then he comes back like nothing happened. And because he's not completely gone, you don't allow yourself to fully move on. This is where a lot of people get stuck. According to Cleveland Clinic, this kind of behavior is often called breadcrumbing, giving someone just enough attention to keep them interested without any real intention to commit. Red flags include sporadic communication and superficial messages. These patterns can hinder the development of a meaningful connection, avoiding deeper conversation, and staying present only in low-effort ways. And that's the part that hurts. Because inconsistency can feel romantic when you're attached. You tell yourself, well, if he didn't care, why would he come back? But coming back is not the same as showing up. Let me say that again. Coming back is not the same as showing up. If he likes having access to you, likes your attention, likes knowing you're there, that can keep the contact alive. But it does not automatically mean he's genuinely into you. Why you keep hoping anyway? The reason this sign is so powerful is because inconsistency creates emotional addiction. When someone is hot and cold, every small bit of affection feels more valuable than it really is. A random "Hey stranger" text suddenly feels meaningful. A late night check-in feels intimate. One good conversation makes you forget 2 weeks of silence. Cleveland Clinic explains that breadcrumbing works through something called intermittent reinforcement. That means you're not crazy for feeling attached. It's an unpredictable attention that keeps you hooked. But it does mean you need to stop measuring his feelings by his occasional moments and start measuring them by his overall pattern. Because patterns tell the truth that moments can hide. Sign number 2. His words sound good, but his actions don't match. This is the second sign. He says he misses you. He says he wants to see you. He says he likes you. He says we should definitely do something soon. And then nothing happens. No real plan. No follow-through, no consistency, no movement. This is where people get emotionally trapped by language, because words can create the feeling of a relationship long before there is actual substance. Psychology Today specifically points to this as a major red flag. Some people talk the talk, give validation, say they care. They can describe what could be, but their actions remain inconsistent and they don't follow through in a meaningful way. And that mismatch matters, because real interest does not need to be decoded for 6 months. If he says he wants to see you, he makes a plan. If he says you matter, he treats you like you matter. If he says he wants something real, his behavior starts becoming real. Very Well Mind describes breadcrumbing as small bits of attention. It's a manipulative tactic that keeps someone hooked. This is such an exciting opportunity for us. I'm looking forward to exploring this further with you. It also notes signs like entertaining plans without locking anything in, brief digital check-ins, and hot and cold behavior that keeps the other person hopeful. So if his words keep giving you hope, but his behavior keeps giving you anxiety, believe the behavior. Not because words mean nothing, but because words without action are often just emotional placeholders. Sign number 3, he keeps the future vague. This third sign is one of the clearest. Whenever the conversation gets even slightly real, he gets blurry. If you ask what he wants, he says, I'm just seeing where things go. If you ask where you stand, he says, let's not ruin it. If you ask for clarity, he says, why put pressure on it? Now look, not everyone needs to define everything immediately. That part is true. Psychology Today lists this too. A person may seem interested, but stay hesitant to talk about the future, avoid exclusivity, and keep giving excuses for why they can't commit or aren't ready. At some point, that vagueness becomes the answer. Cleveland Clinic also notes that people who breadcrumb avoid every future stuck in the moment, especially when asked for clarity. And this is where hope becomes dangerous. Because when someone stays vague, your imagination starts doing the work his effort should be doing. You start filling in blanks. Maybe he just needs time. Maybe he's scared because he really likes me. Maybe if I'm patient, he'll choose me. But if someone likes you and is emotionally available, Heim usually creates more clarity, not less. So if months go by and you still don't know what this is, that uncertainty is not a tiny issue, it is the issue. The deeper truth, you may be attached to the possibility, not the person. This is the uncomfortable part. Sometimes you're not holding on because he has shown you so much. You're holding on because you've built a future in your head out of crumbs. A text became a promise. Chemistry became compatibility. Potential became loyalty. And now letting go feels painful because you're not just losing him, you're losing the version of the story you hoped was coming. Verywell Mind warns that breadcrumbing can slowly lower your standards. It's a slow erosion of self-worth by teaching you to accept the bare minimum of attention while suppressing your own needs just to keep the connection alive. That's why this matters so much. Because the longer you normalize confusion, the easier it becomes to call neglect patience and call crumbs care. So what do you do if you recognize these signs? First, stop asking, how do I get him to choose me? Why am I trying so hard to make sense of someone who is not being clear? Verywell Mind recommends being honest about how the behavior makes you feel, asking for what you want, and refusing to reinforce low-effort communication. And finally, remember this. You do not need to beg for consistency. You do not need to earn basic effort. The right connection may still require patience, but it will not require you to abandon your self-respect. So here are the 3 signs he's not into you, even though you keep hoping. Number 1, he gives you attention but not consistency, whose reactions don't match. Number 2, his words sound good, but his actions don't match. Number 3, he keeps the future vague and leaves you in constant uncertainty. If you see all 3 together, stop calling it a slow burn. It's probably a stall. And the longer you hold on to unclear energy, the longer you delay the kind of love that is actually mutual, calm, and real. That's it for today's video. If you found it helpful or it speaks to your experience, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the coming video.